Welcome to the Snyder Cut of Cultaholic Wrestling News. We're going to keep it just under 4 hours, and we're going to make everything a little bit grayer and a little bit darker. How you doing, Sam? All right?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. I can't promise about that runtime, though, mate. You know what we're like when we get going.
Have you watched Justice League yet? Have you watched the Snyder one?
I haven't watched the original, and I don't know if I'll watch the Snyder Cut. I've got a bit of a love-hate relationship with DC's cinematic universe, and I'll get there one day, but I don't think I'm quite ready for it just now.
I think the best way to describe it is it visually impressive? Yes. Is it good? I don't know.
That's pretty much every Zack Snyder film. Yep. I mean, have you seen Sucker Punch? People are going to defend this in the comments, but have you seen Sucker Punch?
Wasn't that the Big Show movie?
I don't know, but I can't quite. It had some people in it and anime bits, and it was like 4.5 hours long, and it was a music video, but it had a story.
I like it.
Looked good.
You know what they say? If you can't convince them, confuse them. That's how it works. Anyway, here is your wrestling banana. AEW Talent comments on Andrade's WWE release request. A top Raw star has addressed their absence from television. And we have an update on NXT TakeOver plans following the recent COVID outbreak. We'll get to that in a bit. Things are far from tranquilo in the world of Andrade this morning. So we've been talking for a little while about his status within the company. Like, we haven't seen him on TV since back in October, and there have been some rumors that he's unhappy within his role in WWE. He took to Twitter yesterday to set the world alight, saying, "The rumors are true, and I don't know what the future holds, but I want to make my dreams come true. Thank you for giving me so much support these last days." He's also removed all mentions of WWE from all his social platforms. Did we see this coming, Sam?
Everybody, I guess, has a feeling, you know, when talent stops being used on TV and they start to, you know, disappear for a little bit, and there's no reported injuries, there's no reported X, Y, or Z, and it's sort of like, you got this guy in the books and you're not using him? Are you mad? I think, yeah, when it reaches that point, everybody's kind of like, well, what's going to happen next? And of course, being the world of wrestling and being that there are more prominent companies around the world than ever before, I'd say, yeah, we're potentially, you know, on track for maybe, if they'll allow it, an Andrade release.
Well, we will see on that one. We're going to keep you updated throughout the day and see what comes from Stamford on that. But Jim Ross, AEW commentator, has been one of the first people to speak publicly about the announcement. He was on the Grilling JR podcast yesterday, and he says, quote, "I am surprised during this COVID climate that people are asking for their release. You damn sure don't want to ask for a release unless you've got somewhere to go and can establish some stability and financial security. I'm not surprised that WWE refused it," talking about his release, because that allows them not to make him happy or another company happy. To me, it says WWE is keenly aware of AEW. We're not that pissant company that Triple H said we were going to be at the beginning. He goes on to say, "If I were Andrade, I hope he's thought it out. Right now, the most significant thing in his timeline is he's dating and living with Charlotte. He is a good worker, don't get me wrong. He looks great, but right now, he hasn't distinguished himself. Would I like to work with him someday? Why not?" Andrade to AEW. We start that conversation immediately, Sam.
Two things on that. So first, obviously, you know, it's hard to distinguish yourself in, you know, the US market when you're not really getting much featured TV time at the moment. He did establish himself for quite a while. And, you know, he's fantastic in NXT. We had that great run with Zelina Vega, like when they came to the main roster. And then, of course, as everything sort of blew up, everything fell apart, that's when all of this really began. And second, Jim Ross, like, going on about, you know, asking for your release in the COVID climate. Have you seen America, mate? They're putting 25,000 people a night in the stadium for WrestleMania.
They cured COVID in America.
It's fine, yeah. You just turn up, just don't breathe.
As long as you go and don't breathe. Actually, on that note, WrestleMania tickets are on sale now. They have, as well as all the other regulations they've got there, social distancing, the pod bubble system, contactless payments at
concessions,
drink vendors and concessions. That's
the bar is open.
The bar is open, but only if you have card. And so with all that going on, as well as that, when you arrive there, not only do you get a free mask, which is very nice, but you also get a waiver you have to sign to say that you understand that there is a pandemic and you want to watch the wrestling, for lack of a better term. So,
I will not hold WWE responsible if I die. I just really wanted to see the wrestles.
That's basically
Signed,
what this says.
Everybody there.
Signed Mark. Yeah. Not really. Lads.
Too sweet.
So Jim Ross speaking, the first person to speak about Andrade and his current situation. And yeah, like as you say there, everything's fine. He can go back to work. And also, like, there is something to be said for there is a comfortable nature to talent at the moment because there are so many other options. There was a long period in wrestling where there wasn't.
The one thing here to note is that obviously I'm assuming what Jim was actually getting at was, I'd imagine, international travel. It's still permitted for certain working situations, but I imagine it's harder than ever to get foreign bookings and to cross international borders. You know, especially if you're going to be living in the US, and it's probably going to be, a whole minefield there. But yeah, I'd love to see him in AEW, wouldn't you?
Certainly would. That would be a thing. Just keep them coming. Just keep them coming. Keep them coming. Question marks over Andrade this morning. Also question marks over Keith Lee this morning. Conspicuous by his absence on WWE television. It's been very stop-start for Keith in 2021 because not only did he miss the Rumble following a COVID scare, but also he missed the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view set to clash with Riddle and Lashley for the US title. That didn't happen. He went to Twitter last night and said, quote, "I hear many of you. I see many of the messages. One day, I will explain it all for the ones true to me. For now, know that I more than appreciate the continued support. And when I return, it'll be filled with all the love I have for those that represent this hashtag Legion. Or in other words, don't you forget about Keith. No. Keith. Poor Keith, Sam, what's going on?
It's a crying shame. Like, I adore Keith Lee. I think he's fantastic. I think he's going to be, if not already, he's a huge star. But I think he's going to go down as, a very, very, very big deal one day. The guy is just next level charisma, next level size and agility. He's got everything in terms of what I enjoy about wrestling, and I just want to see him in a featured prominent role. It's almost, and I don't want it to get to this level, and I don't want to jinx it by saying it, so that's not what I'm trying to do or anything. But it's almost like the Cesaro situation in my head. It's like, just put the belt on him, just put the belt on him, and make the whole company be about him.
It's not hard. It's easy.
But no, I mean, we don't know what's going on with Keith. It could be any number of things, and as long as when the time is right for him to return, it's all, everybody's on the same page and everything's good, then, that's what matters. So
a surprise wrestling return occurred this week. It's been announced that Kylie Ray is stepping back into the wrestling ring. She's going to be part of the Warrior Wrestling Stadium event on June the 5th. Mike Johnson of PW Insider gave us an update on this following the announcement that Kylie Ray was returning. Now, we know that Kylie Ray, last time we saw her, was set to be part of Bound for Glory in October to face Deonna Purrazzo. She never turned up to the show. She never made it to the show. The Impact have been incredibly supportive of her in her decision to retire. She said that when she returned, she was feeling better, she would fulfill obligations. So we don't know the extent of how long she'll be back for. But Mike Johnson of PW Insider has reported that despite this apparent retirement from the company, she is still under contract to Impact Wrestling. So if this is a full-time thing, we can expect her back in Impact probably by the end of the year.
Yeah, this is. I'm all for this as well. If Kylie Ray's coming back to wrestling, it's only a good thing. It's just nice. It's just nice. It's just nice.
It's a warm feeling.
Yeah, but it was just so sad to see her leave the industry. But of course, if somebody decides that the time is right for that, then that's completely their decision to make. But I don't know. There's just something about Kylie Ray that is infectiously happy, and it just makes you happy as a wrestling fan to see her enjoy herself so much as she's working.
Absolutely. We wish her nothing but the best. Looking to WrestleMania week, and I don't know about you, Sam, but I didn't think there was enough wrestling during WrestleMania week. I think WWE are slacking by only putting on 9 shows in 7 days.
Just don't. I'm trying to put it to the back of my mind. That schedule is printed off, and I'm about to sellotape it to my desk because I guarantee if I keep looking at it, I'm going to rip it up and throw it away. But yeah, I mean, there's of course going to be a lot more going on around WrestleMania week, but I dread to even think.
Wow. We have an update on 2 of the shows in regards to TakeOver Night 1 and Night 2. There was a COVID outbreak within NXT recently. How has that affected TakeOver? Tell you in just a moment. But before that, NXT UK stepping up. They're like, we want to do something WrestleMania week as well. So that is what is happening. NXT UK Prelude is a show that's going to be airing 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK time on Thursday, April the 8th. And the plan is this is going to showcase what they are saying are matches that will become the most talked about in the history of NXT UK. So they've announced 2 so far. Ooh. There's a Heritage Cup match, which is kind of old school World of Sport style rules, between Tyler Bate and Noam Dar, which is nice. And for the NXT UK Championship, Volta versus Rampage Brown. I mean,
yeah. Just you've just got a feel for both guys' nipples. Like that's gonna suck. That's gonna suck. So no, like Rampage and Walter is I mean, Christ, talk about 2 of the most hard-hitting wrestlers the UK has ever sort of held up on a platform and gone, come and get it. Like this is, oh God, it's gonna be brutal. It's gonna be brutal.
I don't know whether the match is in the can or not. I don't know for definite, but if it's not, I'd like to send a message to Michael Hickenbottom, who is one of the creative forces behind NXT UK. Please let them go. Just let them
do what they need to do. Because
sign waivers if you need to.
If you let them do what they need to do, this legitimately already, it's 100% going to go down in history. It's going to be possibly one of the most brutal matches WWE has displayed in quite some time.
Oh, it's so much hyperbole. I'm here for it. Bring on Rampers and Volta. Step it into my veins.
Yes.
Anyway, NXT week. Let's have a little sit down. There was some concerns this week about TakeOver. Night 1 and Night 2 of Stand and Deliver looked to be sort of a bit like this since there was a COVID outbreak at NXT this past week. Now, this affected quite heavily the card of NXT. It left them with a much smaller deck of cards to play with. There was 1 match that was changed and there was 1 match that was completely cancelled. So we were missing quite a few key players from NXT just the other night. So, in no particular order, Pete Dunne missed NXT last Wednesday night. He was meant to be out there with the Britain Brawlers, nowhere because obviously there's no. Now, by the way, I'm saying these names. I'm not. This doesn't mean they had the COVID, but it means that when it was revealed there was a COVID outbreak, they were very conspicuous by their absence on television. So Pete Dunne wasn't there. Wasn't there. The Way were, well, with the exception of Austin Theory, The Way weren't there. So no Johnny Gargano, no Candice LeRae, no Indy Hartwell. The Garganos were there via FaceTime, which was adorable. No Timothy Thatcher there either. He was meant to team with Ciampa to face Imperium. No Alexander Wolf from Imperium either. We know he's been at some of these tapings and he wasn't present there as well. Also, no Leon Ruff. He and Isaiah Swerve Scott were meant to face each other in a match they built up last week and the week before. Neither were present. So quite a few people missing from that show.
Do you think it could just be sort of like, let's just get down to a skeleton crew and if we can get around having so many people in the building, let's do that? Or could it be, you know, Pete Dunne has a young child? It could be something to do with that. I don't know. Like it seems like, yeah, as you said, it's a little bit too close together, but it could just be a safety thing.
It very well could be. Dave Meltzer's given us an update on this and says, with regards to those who weren't at the show, in the event they were affected by COVID, he says, in theory, they'll all be cleared in 10 to 14 days. Unless somebody has a really bad case and gets sick, I don't think TakeOver is affected at all. If they started testing guys on Friday and Saturday, that means there's a good chance that they'd be cleared to come back for next Wednesday's show. So in theory, people should be back by Wednesday, so just the 1 week it's been affected. So all being well, the NXT TakeOver card is okay.
Fingers crossed.
But these are weird times we live in. Could you imagine if it ends up being 3 Iron Man matches over 2 nights? I mean, I wouldn't be mad.
just two Iron Man matches and just one per night. Do that instead, and then have a third night and just go up against Mania. That'd be
Amazing.
fine.
I'd love that to death. 9 pitches for WWE Fastlane on the Cultaholic YouTube channel right now. Also, look out for a very special predictions video on the channel later on today. And some more news if you're lucky. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.